Welcome to Gurgle, a bite-sized podcast from the creators of Ad Nauseam. Looking to whet your appetite for the classics? Gurgle will tickle your taste buds and leave you wanting more. And now, from the vomitorium, here are your hosts, Dr. David Noe and Dr. Jeff Winkler.
All right, hey, welcome to Gurgle. And as we dive into this Gurgle, Dave, what are we talking about here?
Well, this is the third one, and today we're going to talk about why you should memorize Latin and how to do it.
Oh, this is going to be a short show. You don't have to memorize. It's all written down. You can pick it up and read it. Why memorize it?
Well, because you want to have in your mind a storehouse, a treasury of words and phrases that are well put together so that you can actually manipulate and learn the language. This is how children learn language. Yes, they experiment, they pick up a little bit at a time, but they also memorize things.
So this is something you don't do at the end of your career. This is something that's essential at the beginning
Absolutely.
of starting to learn Latin. Okay.
Absolutely,
All right,
absolutely. So language acquisition requires a great deal of memorization, you might say.
Okay.
It's not only memorization, there has to be active use, but it is far more easy to remember words and phrases with context and meaning than in isolation. So if I try to get you to remember the word "diwitii," riches, you're just going to memorize that cold without any context, or are you going to learn a nice catchy phrase like "homo doctus in se divitias habet"?
Yeah.
The wealthy man, I messed it up. The learned man has internal wealth.
Gotcha.
Now you got a context, you got a hook, a peg, and you can say cranks for the memories on that basis.
So you would kind of scoff at the end of those dusty Latin textbooks where at the end of the chapter there's all those kind of list of the bolded words and basically say, hey, write these down and memorize them?
Now I wouldn't scoff, but that's totally inadequate.
Gotcha.
You got to learn actual sentence and phrases as used by masters.
All right.
Didn't your parents teach you things like a stitch in time saves nine?
They said stuff. I don't know if I was listening.
Stuff. He who hesitates is lost. You never heard those things? A bird in the hand is worth two in the bush.
Don't run with scissors.
Don't run with scissors.
Yeah.
Yeah, these are these memorable kinds of phrases that stick in your, I think they stick in your memory.
Yeah, okay.
So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about these. We're going to analyze them a little bit. We're going to think of some different ways to translate them. And then at the end of this little gurgle, we're going to give you a way to get your hands on these particular phrases.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Loci Recitandi, Part 1.
Okay.
The phrases, the passages that you want to memorize. Now,
All
Jeff,
right.
why would you want to memorize Latin?
I think it would be to... I think back in the day it was to impress women.
Yeah.
It didn't work very well.
Did not work. It's fun, isn't it?
It's fun. It is.
Okay.
I mean, I think as in our regular episodes, our reading of the Latin, our reading of the Greek, part of the pleasure is enunciating these things and hearing them out loud.
The sound of it.
It's wonderful. So yeah, I think for me it would boil down to it's just simply fun.
Okay.
Yeah. What else? I mean, why would you memorize Latin?
Well, because there are a lot of people who teach and speak Latin, and I'm not going to cast aspersions because I'm by no means perfect, but there are a number of idiosyncrasies in their speech patterns. There are a number of malapropisms.
Oh, okay.
And solecisms, right? Things that a Roman wouldn't say. So how are you going to learn good diction? Well, you have to have at your fingertips those individuals who spoke good Latin. And so what we have here is a selection from a wide range. We have some scriptural quotations. Now, if you're listening to this and you're not interested in scripture, pass over those. You don't have to memorize those. From pagan authors, from Renaissance authors. It's a wide smorgasbord of memorable phrases that I think, one ought to commit to memory, something like this, if you want to become proficient in Latin.
Okay, all right, excellent. So shall we walk through some of these?
Yes, let's do that.
Okay, let's
so
do
here
it.
are the first 20, Loci Recitandi Part 1. Some of these are couplets. That's a line of hexameter and then an elegiac couplet, and they're taken from a work by a woman named Laura Gibbs called Brevissima, 1001 Tiny Latin Poems. She put this together. You can look it up. We'll put it in the link. And the poems themselves are in the public domain.
Okay.
So the work she did was assembling them and writing notes on them. So I'm using some of her work. I'm plugging her work, but it's not a copyright violation because they're all in the public domain.
Gotcha.
So the first one, number 1. This is by Cicero. It's from his Brutus. So it goes like this. Nihil est enim simul et inventem et perfectum.
What's great about that? I mean,
Okay.
Why would you want to memorize that?
Well, I think in some ways this is the first thing that you ought to memorize when you start learning Latin, because it means nothing is discovered and mastered at the same time.
Uh-huh.
And isn't that emblematic of the study of language or anything?
Yes.
You don't go onto the court and shoot, 8 3-pointers the first time. You learn how to dribble with one hand.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. Okay.
You don't become a master chef until you've made mac and cheese out of the box. You got to work your way up.
Right.
Nihil est enim simile inventem et perfectum.
I see. So I admit that makes perfect sense. This is number one.
This number one,
Yep.
right. And it comes from apud tullium. Apud tullium. Now, the word apud, the preposition, takes the accusative, and when you want to cite someone in literature, you use apud, the preposition, then you use the person's name in the accusative. So apud tullium means as found in Cicero.
Gotcha. Tullius.
That's
Yep.
right.
Gotcha. Number two here.
Number two, this is apud Jacobum, right? This is from the Apostle James. It's James 4:6, and it's Deus superbis resistit, gratiam humilibus dat.
So God resists the proud and gives grace to the humble.
That's right.
Yes,
He
okay.
resists, opposes the proud, gives grace to the humble. Why? Is this the second thing you might want to learn? Because after you learn the first one, you're thinking, yeah, I'm pretty good. I got that first one down. No, be careful.
This one knocks you to your knees.
Brings you back down to earth. And it's
Gotcha.
really nice because, look, you got two datives in here. You've got superbis in the first phrase, but it's dative because of the verb resistit, right?
Yes.
The second one, humilibus, is dative because it's the indirect object of dat.
Wow.
So it's a really nicely put together phrase. You get a number of good Latin lessons grammatically in that phrase, and you learn something memorable.
As my friend John in graduate school would often say, double your dative, double your fun.
There you go.
Number three.
Number three, homo doctus in se divitias habet. The learned man, the learned person, has wealth on the inside.
Yes.
In se.
Insane.
Yeah. So, if you got a couple bucks in your pocket, right, you spend them, what happens? You got no more bucks.
Yeah, it's gone.
Right. But if you know something, say Latin on the inside, as you share it with others, now two people are wealthy. You are wealthy because you learned something in the process of giving it away.
Yes.
And they gained knowledge too. So knowledge is really unique as a human commodity.
Yeah.
Right? It can expand without diminishing. You can also provide variations on this, right? You can say like homo docta, the learned woman, has wealth on the inside. You can add an adjective in, right? Like homo doctus in se magnas divitias habet.
So you can constantly kind of add to and tweak it.
That's right. You could say homo stultus in se nil habet.
Yeah.
The stupid
man, right.
It's got nothing on the inside, right?
Yeah.
And you can do that all if you just memorize the phrase.
Yeah.
And this is apud phaedrum.
Apud phaedrum. So Phaedrus.
Phaedrus, that's right.
Excellent. Number four.
Number four, bis vincit qui se vincit in victoria. Now this is a little bit of a tongue twister because you got all those vincits in there. Yeah, but it means he who conquers himself in victory wins twice.
So this is apud Cyrus.
Apud Cyrus.
Cyrus, who is this?
That's a philosopher, Cyrus. He was a Syrian.
Okay.
Right? He lived in the Common Era. Yeah, I don't know his exact date, but he said a lot of these interesting sayings that were collected together.
Yeah. So
bis vincit, you win twice. If you don't dance in the end zone.
Exactly. This is
Qui se vincit in victoria.
Right. I love that phrase about if you get to the end zone, act like you've been there.
That's right.
Yeah.
Barry Sanders, right?
Yes.
He scored a touchdown. He just handed the ball to the referee. His old hat. I've done this so many times.
I loved Barry.
Yeah.
Retired way too soon.
What a gentleman,
Yeah.
right? He knew the truth of bis vincit qui se vincit in victoria.
Right. So you have to kind of master the self.
That's right.
You don't
and then you've
give
got-
into that
Nah.
temptation, right?
Then you got two victories.
Yes. All right. The next one, number 5, is from Proverbs.
Yeah, so apud Salomonem. Now what you learn here is partly it's hard to Latinize Hebraic names. They don't all Latinize. Salomonem, good enough, right? This is from Proverbs chapter 9. Timor Domini principium sapientiae.
So fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom.
That's correct.
All right.
And if you're really getting fancy, you'll notice that this phrase has 4 nouns, no verb.
No verb.
So what verb do we have to supply?
Est.
Est. And if you really get fancy, you learn it by heart, you can say it in reverse order. Sapientiae principium Domini Timor.
So that could also kind of aids in the memory
Yes.
and kind of solidifying it in your mind.
That's right.
Yeah.
Because you know that although Latin word order is important, it's not determinative of meaning. It's for emphasis and style.
Gotcha.
Isn't that nice?
Solomonum. Is there a general rule of kind of if you're like changing a name into kind of a third declension or a second declension?
Well, the general rule is check Jerome
Oh, really?
and then be skeptical.
I like it. Right.
Yeah.
All right. What do we got next? Number 6.
Number 6 is a couplet. And this is from a guy named Urbano Appendini. He's an Italian.
Ah,
Urbano Appendini.
Appendini, okay.
This is his distica. I think it's his distica ex educatione, something like that.
Okay.
So it's quae vitae concessa tibi sint tempora nescis, urgo faciti us, quae facienda vides. You do not know what times of life have been granted you, therefore do more quickly what you see must be done. In other words, hey, life is fleeing, get on with it.
Right, so it's a kind of an extended carpe diem.
That's
here.
right.
Okay.
That's exactly the way to see it.
Yes.
And so here you learn a little poetry, you learn nescis, you learn subordinate clauses, you learn the imperative of the verb facio, you learn a comparative adverb in citius, you learn a gerundive facienda. Now, you can learn all of those things out of a grammar book, but why not have an example at your fingertips?
Yeah.
It's nice.
That's great. Now, this next one's from the Aeneid.
Yes.
Okay,
Book 1, lines 202, 203. Expertir vocatane mos maestumque temordrem. Mittite forsan et haeco lim meminisse juabit.
Okay, now this is one of the most famous lines from,
It
from the epic.
Yeah,
right?
experti. You've been through this.
Yeah.
Aeneas is talking to his men after the storm. He says, call back your courage and dismiss grim fear. Maybe someday you'll have a chuckle remembering these events too.
Yes. Yeah. Have a chuckle?
Yeah, you like that for you wobbit? Have a chuckle?
Yeah.
Well, that's part of the fun because you're not just learning Latin to complete tables and diagrams and declensions.
Yeah.
You're trying to learn some sensitivity to literature. 'Cause
Sure.
That's where the joy is.
Right. And I think there's some kind of, some core human truth there. I think that, we, in some ways, we kind of paint our past and we kind of sand away the rough edges.
Right.
And so we can kind of, paint these things with a kind of a golden light.
Right. Remember the first time we tried to do the podcast in my living room, crouched under a blanket?
Yes, I haven't sanded the rough edges off that memory quite yet. Yeah.
Because we wanted to have good acoustics. Oh, how we've grown. Okay.
Yeah. We just don't care about acoustics anymore.
Number 9.
Number 9.
How about you read this one?
This is from we're number 8 actually.
Oh, did I skip?
Don't
8,
skip this one. This
sorry.
is Apiterentium.
Yes.
Terence. Auribus teneo lupum.
Right.
So I hold the wolf by the ears.
I'm holding a wolf by its ears.
Yeah.
Auribus teneo lupum.
Is it like a bull by the horns? Is that the kind of a
No, to take the bull by the horns means I'm going to jump in there and do it.
I'm in control. What is this? This more...
means I am in such a dangerous spot that if I let go of the wolf, he's going to bite me.
Oh, okay. So
and
quite
if
different.
I hold on to the wolf, you can imagine holding on to a wolf?
No.
It's terrible. Interestingly, this is the very phrase Thomas Jefferson used to describe the condition of American slavery.
Really?
It's like our phrase "tiger by the tail,"
yes,
right? But it's "auribus teneo lupum."
And
I like this one too if you're a teacher because you can vary it, right? You can say something like "naso teneo discipulum." I'm holding the student by its nose. You can do a lot of things with this, or "auribus teneo elephantum." I'm holding an elephant by the ears.
Yeah.
Right? "Auribus teneo nil." I'm not holding anything by its ears.
Right.
So the idea is you learn the basic phrase, 3 words. You got the ablative of instrument, "auribus." You've got the verb in the first singular. You got an object.
Yeah.
And then you introduce variety.
I think you need to do another edition of this Brevissima here with not only these lines, but then 3 or 4 tweaks. Of these.
Only the couplets are from Laura Gibbs' work.
Okay, I'm sorry.
The other things are stuff that I've just scrounged up here and there.
Well, my idea I think still stands.
Okay, it's your idea. It stands.
Okay.
Fine. All right, next. We got to hustle.
Number 9. Yes.
This is Apud Paulum. This is from the Apostle Paul. Omnia valeo per eum qui me corroborat nempe Christum. I can do everything through him who strengthens me, Christ. Now, there's some good grammatical lessons in here. We don't have the time to go into all of them. We got a subordinate clause. We've got the verb valeo, meaning to have power or to be able. Right? Most Latin students would think, I need to do something like possum facere, right? But no, valeo is the right choice here. And this is Theodore Bayes' translation. I need valeo here because it means to have the capacity for something, to be strong enough.
Yeah. Wonderful. Number 10.
Number 10, also a biblical quotation, John 16:13. Quum autem veneret illa, nepe spiritus veritatis, ducet vos in omnem veritatem. Which is, when he comes, the Spirit of truth, he will lead you into all truth. And it's got one of my favorite Latin particles in here, nempe.
Nempe. What is it, nempe?
Nempe is tough. It means to wit, let me put a point on this. Hey, pay attention. This is it. That kind of thing.
Is that late Latin?
No, it's classical.
Is it classical? Okay.
Very hard to translate.
Yeah.
Very hard to translate. But this is a good illustration of it.
So we saw that right in number 9. That I can do all things through him who strengthens me, namely Christ.
Yes, Nempa Christum. Same idea.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, you got to get your Nempas in there.
Yeah.
All right, you want to read number 11?
Number 11 reminds me of a T-shirt that I once
Yeah.
saw. Quae nocet doncent.
Yes.
This is Erasmus.
Apud Erasmum. Yep.
Yes. So literally, that which harms teaches.
Yes, the things that harm, they teach.
Yes.
You can throw the Greek in there too if you want to. Hablapte didaske.
Yes.
That's memorable. The
That which
things that
harms
hurt,
teach.
they teach.
Right. So
Yep.
that which doesn't kill you makes you stronger.
Yes.
Stretched out.
Thank you, Kelly Clarkson.
Yeah.
That woman has a set of pipes.
Yes, she does.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm a fan.
I'm a fan.
She,
I'm a fan
she
too.
can really sing.
She can belt it.
Yep.
Yep.
Number 12, we're going to have to wrap this up here, I think.
Okay.
We're going to have to stop at number 12 and
All
do
right.
the rest in another episode, another gurgle.
What do we got?
We have, this is from John Owen. Now, this is not the famous theologian, the Congregationalist theologian. It's a poem writer. This is from 1613, an epigrammatist. Cur similis similem sibi quaerit amicus amicum. Uno nemo potest in pedestare diu.
All right, that's just fun to say with all the,
It
all the alliteration in
Isn't
there,
it?
right? Yeah.
So, why does like seek that which is like to itself? Why does friend seek friend? Because nobody can stand on one foot for too long. Isn't that nice?
That's very nice.
Why do you have 2 feet?
Yeah.
You can't stand on one foot like some kind of monopod.
Oh, like a flamingo?
Yeah, duffelpud. No, you can't do that.
No.
So, cur similis similem sibi quaerit amicus amicum. Uno nemo potest in pedestare diu.
Well done, John Owen.
Yeah, a lot of good grammatical lessons in here too, and you can learn them as a poem. But hey, that's a gurgle.
That's a
We
gurgle?
only got to number 13. Number 12. We're going to do this again.
Yeah. We'll have to do a part 2 of this gurgle.
Yeah, we are going to have to. So let's say that you want to get your hands on these and memorize them yourself.
So where would you go to do that?
Well, there's 3 different ways you can do it.
Okay.
You can listen to this episode over and over, taking notes, edit it down, edit the audio down using your own Mishka, right? It's free if you want to do that.
Yep.
You can become a Patreon supporter at patreon.com/LatinPerDiem because all of them are getting this document and the high-quality audio recording with a translation. So not what we've done here today. I'm going to record each of them so they can listen to it, download it, and you get this at the lowest level of support, which is the Lucan level, $1.99 a month. You sign up for 1 month, get the document and the audio, and then cancel if you don't like it.
And then they can also sign up for your LPSI class.
That's right.
And
because all of those students
will get this.
will get this. That's right.
All right.
Well,
we got to get out of here.
That's it. That's a gurgle. Check out our sponsors also, ratiocoffee.com
HackettPublishing.com.
and popcitypopcorn.com.
Thanks for listening.